No one should be victimized in the city of Memphis. I don't care about your legal status. I want to make sure that our people are safe. Public safety, when you look at it, is absolutely not just policing. It is how do we keep the public safe? The police can react to crimes, but we should also be thinking about how do we prevent crimes. And one way that we prevent is we identify who's most likely to commit crimes. And you can see the trajectory. If they're getting suspended from school, they're in truancy court, they've had early interaction with the law, those are the individuals that we should be targeting opportunities, not in a punitive sense, but in an opportunistic sense. And I think that is the true sense of public safety that we want to build in our community.
If you think about right now in history and what's happening on a national scope around immigrants and immigration and the tone, we got to turn this tone down. There's a lot of legislation at both the state and federal level. You're going to need a mayor that understands that, and a mayor that's a person that's already been fighting, right, to that end, and that have the relationships in Nashville and Washington to help mitigate some of that stuff. And I'm that person.
I want to create what I call a crime czar. And a crime czar, that's someone who would work across agencies, work with the private sector, the nonprofit sector, groups like Sukasa Ministries that is immersed in the community to see how can we better serve everyone in our community as in the mayor's office. And so that's something I've been thinking about a lot. What I would love to see is tap into to make sure everyone's feeling safe and not feeling targeted, but we can only better understand what those concerns are if we're talking to the people who are being most impacted.
I had the pleasure of serving as mayor of the great city of Memphis for almost 18 years. We established a program called Blue Crush that was very effective crime abatement program. We reduced significantly crime incidents. So one of the things I'm going to do, if the citizens re-elect me, I'm going to bring back that program. It was nationally recognized as an effective program.
When you talk about even keeping the immigrant community safe, a lot of times there are barriers, and we've got to be able to tear those barriers. It could be language, it could be culture, it could be all types of things. So what I would plan to do is to create a multicultural type office where we're having relationships, having these conversations, finding out what's going on in different communities, because I know from being the sheriff that sometimes they're not always willing to come forward because they don't understand the law. Immigrants don't understand the law, they don't understand the process. So we've got to do a better job in teaching everyone the process. Not that we're trying to hurt them, we're trying to protect them.
Well, that's something that the mayor has purview over, because the mayor makes the appointments or recommendations to the city council. And so that's something that I commit that I will do, is make sure that we factor in diversity, and diversity from a broad context, including the immigrant communities, to make sure that there's representation across the board.
I currently serve on the Memphis Shelby County School Board, and I was first elected to that board in 2018. I've been the board chair, and what makes me uniquely positioned in running for mayor and serving as the next mayor is because when you're on the school board and you have a diverse population like we do with MSCS, then you're already at the forefront of thinking about people who may use English as a second language, and for maybe families where the students are serving as the translators for their parents. So I'm already predisposed to thinking about how can we have more representation.
We've got to create an atmosphere where we can have a real conversation about what our communities are experiencing, and look to the leaders in those communities on solutions. Because it's my view, in this ecosystem of tackling this problem, everyone have ideas that are important, everyone have experience that we need to learn from, and that can help us shape the policy that's best suited for every community, because our cultural perspective has value. And I need to respect it as a mayor and bring people in to help us shape that policy going forward. We need to be able to increase the presence and have more inclusion at every single level.
When I was mayor in the 1990s, we instituted the Office of Multicultural and Religious Affairs because I could see then in the early 1990s that Memphis was going to become more diverse. But one of the things I want to do, I want to institutionalize a multicultural diversity office that will be broadly represented by all of the cultures that make up Memphis. And then we can have interactions. I'm talking about institutionalized. We have board of directors and we fund it so that we can educate the Memphis population about this diversity.
You know, what we do right now, you know, we're at events like this, and this is so important that people see us, see that we're friendly, we're not the enemy, we're not the bad guys, if you will, but creating the Office of Diversity as well, as having someone there that can be the bridge between city government and diverse communities. So.
No, I support the people. And I want people to feel assured that if they come forward, that they're not at risk. And as a mayor, I'm going to stand up for that.
That's not something I support. I mean, transferring them to ICE for a minor infraction, jaywalking, no, that's just an example. But no, that doesn't sound like a policy that I would support. But we're going to follow the law, so I don't know what the federal law says in that sense. But to the extent that we have discretion, that would not be a policy that I would want to do.
I would like to say that, you know, the city of Memphis, perhaps we should explore becoming officially a sanctuary city. And Memphis in Tennessee is one of the larger immigrant populations in this whole Mid-South region. So there's definitely a need for something like that, and that's something I think that we should explore.
Within my power, I will say this: arresting immigrants undocumented will not be a priority for the Bonner administration. There's too much crime that's going on in other areas for us to focus on arresting immigrants, undocumented immigrants. Now, as you said, within my power, within my limit, but the police department, that will not be the focus of the police department.
That is something I would need to explore because I don't know all of the dynamics of it, and I don't want to commit to something that I don't fully understand. Does that make sense to you? I need to understand the protocol, why they're doing what they're doing now. So let me just answer you this way. I will take a critical look at that, and then I will make a decision.
Yes, so, you know, we were talking about that earlier a little bit, and great idea, you know, the library card, but even trying to figure out any other types of ID that immigrants could receive, because it's all about picture ID, picture and name, and things like that. So, yes, I would. I think it's only the right thing to do.
I would be committed to reducing barriers that prevent people from having the privileges and the rights to enjoy, like driver's license and other, yes.
I support that. Yeah, that's no, because think about people whose life have been here. They've done everything right. They've been through our school system. They're paying taxes with everything they buy, whether it's gas, grocery, appliances, home, whatever. And they're a viable member of the community. So yes, I would support that.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that it's really important for everyone to be able to have access to resources and things that they need to live a safe, happy life. And so having an ID is really important. And so I would certainly support the creation of those types of IDs if they aren't already in existence here in our city.
I think it's definitely something that we should explore because people are already here. And so I think it would be better and safer for everyone involved to know, who's in our communities. It's a two-way street. whereas people who may not have that level of identification, so they are afraid to come forward to get the level of support that they need, and also for us to help increase our official number of residents. That impacts so many things when it comes to federal dollars and getting federal grants. So I think it's important for us to know who's in our community so that we can be beneficial for each other.